writing for string orchestra, you know, you've got this energy to it, which is slightly different to maybe writing for a quartet, and I guess a cohesion that's slightly different to writing for an orchestra. So I think you can play with that. You can play with the sound feeling like one thing, or you can separate it out, obviously, into the different string sounds.
I love Anna's music because it's so mischievous and unpredictable, and I mean the sense of fun is just infectious. You never know quite what you're going to get at the start of a track, and the way she manipulates your expectations is just joyful. It's very joyful music.
I quite often like to use electronics combined with instruments when I write, and sometimes I treat the ensemble as a single thing that fight against electronics. Sometimes some instruments work with the electronics, you know, maybe I have sort of bass lines or rhythmic elements, and I split the instruments out. But I think I'm normally thinking more, what does the music need to be, and then looking as to whether I need to treat the ensemble as a sort of musical whole, or if it's going to make more sense to lean into the differences, exploit them out more.
In rehearsal, I often have to kind of remind all of us to kind of treat the electronic sounds as a sound world that we really want to kind of get into and engage with, I suppose. So using our ears and relating to those sounds with our acoustic instruments, I think that's really key to that kind of work. We first commissioned Anna to write a piece as part of a commission that was called Scottish Variations, and we approached several composers to write short variations. It's a really interesting kind of collection of pieces that came together, but one stuck out for me, and it was Anna's piece.
My movement actually ended up being a standalone piece called Tull.
It was intensely rhythmic, and it had this kind of incredible momentum and drive. It's a piece that we've performed in many, many settings on the concert platform. You know, it's part of our kind of repertoire, and we love it. During COVID, when nobody was allowed to perform, we started developing this idea of making kind of music video, and I think that the whole character and spirit of the music kind of really lends itself to kind of visual exploration. So we invited a wonderful filmmaker to develop a concept, and it's now the music video that you know, Tull, which is really fun.
I absolutely love the Tull video. I think there's not many string orchestras who, well, would be up for memorising a piece. I know that there was a gazillion shots to make it. If you've seen the video, the players are moving around the place and everything is synced exquisitely. As a classical, I guess, music video, so ambitious and cool, and I'm always really proud to show it to people. Probably in 2014 or 15, Joe Morton got in touch and said, I'm thinking about this idea of a piece that revisits or re-examines the four seasons.
Yeah, I basically presented her with this idea, and I said, what do you think?
I was initially pretty terrified by the idea, because obviously it's so famous. It's almost so famous that it's got an identity and a existence that's sort of even away from the music itself. I think quite early on I knew that my way into this piece wasn't going to be to rework the Vivaldi. It was going to be almost like Vivaldi and I were collaborating on it, and we were going to take it turnabout to tell the story of the year. So I picked the Vivaldi movements, and I like to work quite visually, so I then drew the sort of shapes of those movements. But what was nice then is I guess I had a framework for thinking, okay, what's going to sit well alongside this? Can I do something really big and bombastic that's going to make this next movement of Vivaldi feel really delicate and fragile, or equally, can I do something very still that's going to lead into something more energetic? So I felt like I could represent myself musically, and obviously his pieces are there doing their thing.
I'm really grateful that she was very generous in her kind of openness to the idea and kind of went with it. and Anno is the result.
My next idea was to bring along my sister, and Anna Meredith, who's a brilliant illustrator and ceramicist and visual artist, because I just thought if we're going to do this year, I would love it to try and be as holistic, try and be as complete and give it its best chance of alluding to this time idea.
It was one of those things, like, you didn't quite know, I mean, especially the first rehearsal. So like putting her music, which was amazing, and then the Vivaldi, which is great music too, but then like putting them next to each other was like, oh my God, how are we gonna like do the transitions? But we kind of worked at it, and actually very quickly it sort of coalesced.
It's been great to see how much it's kept being, performed over the years. I mean, I'm really proud of this piece for my own music. I think it works really well. I think almost because it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than Vivaldi, and it's bigger than Eleanor's visuals. It's just its own thing.
And here we are, like 10 years later, still doing it. It's brilliant.
It's really great working with Scottish Ensemble. They are so creative and always up for looking at stuff from fresh eyes every time you come to rehearse with them.
We love working with Anna. She's a brilliant combination of incredibly serious musician and meticulous and precise, but also always ready to have fun, and she has that real sense of mischief.
I've worked, with lots of ensembles or orchestras over the years, but they feel like friends, and getting to come back to revisit projects or pieces we've made together, but always with a freshness and an energy, is such a privilege as a composer, and I just am so excited every time we're going to be doing something together.